Hey house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother Canada updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Laura Lou 29. What's up, girl? Alright, so as usual, we have a lot to talk about. They had the Power Veto competition yesterday and the host was Sarah. And the players were Pilar, Cindy, Godfrey, Kevin, Willow, and Bobby. And the feeds were off for a very long time. It sounds like they had some sort of KFC challenge. Yay for sponsors! It was your turn to do the challenge. So I believe there were some prizes and punishments in this challenge. The only one I know of for sure is that Willow has to wear a ketchup bottle costume for 24 hours. There were also some rumors that Willow got a slot pass, and I thought I read somewhere that Godfrey won $5,000, but I don't know if those two are true or not. But the Power of Veto winner was Godfrey. Oh my gosh! Alright, so after the competition, the house guests also got dinner from KFC, including the have-nots. Alright, so now that Godfrey has won the Power of Veto, it's pretty safe to say he's going to use it on himself. So it's all about that renom. So Sarah wants to try and get Bobby up on the block. She knows she's in trouble. She's got to deflect that target. So she's trying to tell Cindy how to go about campaigning to Pilar and Pilar's allies. So she's like, you need to just come clean about the whole JP vote. You need to be honest about it. Just be like, I was scared what was going to happen and stuff like that. And then Sarah's like, well, we know that Zach and Ashley don't really like Bobby, so we've got that going for us. Maybe they'll go with the plan. And then Sarah also brings up the whole, if we put a Bobby, we can flush out this secret veto that he claims to have, which he doesn't really. So, I mean, that's a pretty valid point. So we'll see what happens with that. Bruno and Zach meet up in the storage room, and they're talking about how Cindy really has to go this week, but they're also both really worried about Sarah. So Bruno calls her, you guessed it, poison. And he calls her that again and again and again. Don't you guys think if Bruno and Sarah actually work together, they could be like a lethal team? Because I do. But he does not trust her. So they agree like, yeah, you can't believe anything that Sarah says. If she comes to you saying that I was saying blah, 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 don't believe it because I don't talk game with her, which is like not true. But they're both trying to make her out to be like this crazy person. It's pretty ridiculous. So Zach is like, yeah, me, you, Bobby, and Godfrey all need to make a pact to go after Sarah and Brittany. So they want to make like a freaking gentleman's agreement. Their words. This is sounding a lot like Big Brother 16, and the throw up is coming up in my throat. So, anyway, Kevin and Pilar discuss possible replacement nominees, and Kevin recommends putting up Brittany. Now this is his reasoning. He says Brittany's been a pawn twice before. She knows what it's all about. Brittany, they think, is less likely to win the next HOH than Sarah. And they feel like if they put up Sarah and then she wins HOH, she's going to be pissed and she's going to retaliate. So they also think, you know, it's a safe move because Cindy is going to go home against Brittany. Like, Sarah is not going to vote against Brittany. She's just not going to do it. So that's one vote locked in. And they don't think the others are going to turn on Brittany either. So Pilar's like, oh yeah, you're making some good points. But she knows that Zach and Ashley don't particularly like Brittany. So she's a little bit worried that they would flip the vote and then Cindy would still be in the house. So she's like, I don't know about this. So again, we'll come back to it. Ashley has a little plan of her own. So she starts talking about this with Zach. She wants to throw out Bruno and Bobby's names to Pilar as potential nominees because she wants to throw people off, make it look like the Chop Shop doesn't exist. And Zach is like, yeah, but like even if people don't think the Chop Shop is a thing, they're still gonna come after us because of the couples alliance, which is pretty true. It seems like Ashley's been thinking a lot more about strategy and stuff now that Godfrey called her out and was like, you need to start making your own moves, playing your own game. So they both agree we're more loyal to the diapers than we are to the Chop Shop. there you have that. So Ashley takes her plan and presents it to Pilar. And she's like, yeah, it'll make people think that we're not working with Bobby and Bruno. It'll be great, and Cindy will still go home. Pilar doesn't seem that into it. It seems like Pilar just wants this whole HOH experience to be over, because she's always like, oh, everyone was talking to me today, and you need to keep people away from me because it's exhausting and it's too much thinking. And she just wants to, like, not be HOH anymore and go back to, like, Big Brother summer camp, dating camp. She's just, like, not feeling the whole playing the game thing. So Cindy was crying last night because it's not looking so good for her at this point. It seems a little bit hopeless, but Sarah and Brittany are trying to encourage her. They're like, no, you need to push for Bobby to go up on the block. We can make this happen. Don't mention our names. So it's super important that Sarah and Brittany do not go up on the block against Cindy, because they want to be able to try and rally for Cindy. So if Bobby goes up on the block, there's a chance that they could flip the house and get rid of Bobby. So now it's time for our really Godfrey moment. Godfrey, it seems like, genuinely wants Cindy to stay this week too. It seems like he wants to work with Cindy, Sarah, and Brittany, but his advice is not that great. He tells Cindy that she should push for Ashley to go up on the block. What? That is never gonna happen! So he's like, yeah, just be like, oh, Ashley hasn't been a pawn yet, like, it's her turn to go up. Come on, man! I know that Zach put up Jordan last week, but there is no way that Pilar is gonna put up Ashley. It's just not gonna happen. Cindy's like, there's no way that's gonna happen, I'm not doing it. So Sarah and Jack, there's no Jack this season. Sarah and Zach had a very interesting chat today. Sarah doesn't want to completely close the door on the whole Zach situation, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to work with her. So she's like, if you still want to work with me, I'm down. Like, you must have bigger targets than me right now. And he's just like, yeah, whatever. So he tells her, if I win HOH next week and I don't put you up, that means we're good. No, really? I never would have guessed that. But then they talk about Bobby's secret veto. And it sounds like Zach doesn't really believe it. He doesn't buy into it. It's kind of like a weird situation because Bobby has, like, this rumor out there, but then he tries to play it off like he's not supposed to be talking about it. So they're remembering when Allison had that secret veto last season, and if she mentioned it to anyone, she was going to be evicted instantly. So they're like, well, Bobby mentioned it, so, like, maybe it's not real. So they're a little bit skeptical about that. Alright, Godfrey, he knows that he's safe this week. He won the POV, so now he's trying to set himself up for next week. He decides to go talk with Kevin and Peely. He proposes an alliance with them, and, you know, it just seems like Kevin does not want to work with Godfrey. He wants nothing to do with him. After Godfrey leaves, Kevin's like, you know what, Peely, just ignore it, like, whatever, we're not working with him. So Kevin again says, I think you should nominate Brittany as the replacement. So Pilar's like, okay. She goes and tells Brittany, like, you're going up on the block, I'm sorry, but you're gonna be the pawn. And Brittany's just like, what? She is not happy about it, and she makes it known. She tells Peely, you need to think more about your end game. Are these really the people that you want to be in the end with? They're gonna freaking tear you apart. So, I mean, she makes some good points, but Peely's just like, I have to think about it. So Cindy gets her chance to talk to Ashley, Zach, and Pilar about the renom. So she's really pushing for Bobby to go up. She pulls out all the good stuff. She's talking about all this info that she got from Sequester and some of the crowd reactions on the sideshow. So she's like, yeah, all of the first 5 evictees agreed that we were going to go after Bobby, and everyone in the crowd was cheering like crazy, which is not true because they all agreed that they were going to go after Zach, but she had to change the name for this story, obviously, because she's trying to convince Zach. So I think she did mention Bobby. They did mention Bobby on the sideshow, but he was like a secondary target. But she's like, yeah, I want to help people that I like before I leave, so that's why I'm giving you guys this information. Okay. And she starts talking about Bobby's secret veto. Again, they're kind of skeptical about it, but they're like, well, maybe. But then she brings out the good stuff. She's like, guess what, Zach? You're Bobby's target. Which is not true, but she pulls that out, and I think that starts the juices flowing in the brain, because it seems like they're kind of open to maybe putting Bobby up on the block. I don't know. They're talking more about it. I'm going to talk more about this tomorrow in the next spoiler video. Also, a couple of the house guests got this task from Big Brother. I'm going to be talking about it tomorrow. There's like a lot going into it, a lot of moving pieces, so I want to save it for tomorrow. But tomorrow should also be the Power of Veto ceremony, so it's going to be a big day. So let me know what you guys think of what's going on right now. Who do you think Peely should nominate as the replacement nominee? Leave it in the comments. And until tomorrow, much love. Edit.